Parents of Reddit. Have you ever caught your child watching porn? And if so, did they know you caught them? How did it play out? Oh God. So my mom asked for the laptop because we were about to order something from Amazon. It was my younger brother's laptop. So me, Mom, and him were there at the table and she types a for Amazon, but the first result was amazing college big asses. Girls never laughed so hard in my life. Mom wasn't surprised though. Amazon. Amazing college big asses girls. Poor kid was doomed from the get-go. At least the kid was being thorough in the off chance that he'd find the not so amazing college big asses girls. I'm not a parent. But when I was maybe 11 or 12, I tried to print some pictures from a website on our home printer. For some reason nothing would print no matter how many times I tried. Being young and dumb, I didn't bother to troubleshoot but just closed the browser and figured it wasn't going to happen. Weeks later, I hear my mom screaming at me from upstairs as like a dozen nude pictures spit out of the printer. She wasn't very tech savvy and we were new to having a computer, so she must have mistakenly unpaused the print queue. Because we had one of the 3-in-1 printers, I was able to talk my way out of it by saying somebody must have faxed it to us by mistake. Who faxes porn? There's no time for logic when you're trying to get out of trouble. My mom caught me. She just shook her head and closed the door. She then told me the next day to maybe try and do it in the shower in the future as it's less messy. It's always harder for me to get off in the shower. Waterproof phone, my friend. He didn't know. I came home early from work one day, and come in through the garage. I see him at the computer in the family room, naked as can be and his arm flailing, and somewhat appeared to be a typical porn on the screen with headphones on. My brain presented the Terminator menu options of the right thing to I opted for nothing. I snuck back out, sat in my truck and played on my phone. He shares a bedroom with his brothers. We have one bathroom. I understand his predicament. He has small windows of time to take care of business. I think I earned some dad points on that one. If I ever told my wife that story, she'd have a heart attack. She knows he does it, but doesn't want to think about it. My dad caught me once late at night. I was 16 or 17 at the time. He knocked on my bedroom door, then opened it before I had a chance to cover up. This was before the internet. So I was holding a magazine in one hand while polishing the dolphin with the other. He froze halfway through the door, with his mouth open as if about to say something. I froze with my dong in one hand and the other halfway to grabbing the blankets. We just looked each other in the eye for 5 of the longest seconds of my life. Then he backed out of the doorway and closed the door while saying, "Don't forget to turn off the light." We never spoke of it again. And afterwards he always waited for me to answer before opening my door. Polishing the dolphin. Well, that's new. And yet so instantly iconic. Verbing the animal is the perfect formula for masturbation euphemism. Choking the chicken. Slapping the donkey. Rubbing the moose. You get the idea. Massaging the anteater? You got the hang of it? Keep it going. Swimming the cow? Sounds like sex with a loose fat woman more than masturbating, but I'll allow it. Shanking the slug. My dad dealt with catching me rather well. The first time I wanked off to porn, I used my dad's work laptop when he wasn't home for the night. I was so young and inexperienced at the time that I thought the only way to do doggy style, which was my favorite to watch, was to have anal sex. So after countless anal sex videos later, the work laptop finally locked me out for suspicious activity before I could delete any evidence or browser history. Panicked and terrified, I put the laptop back in its place and pretended like nothing was wrong. The next day my dad had to go to his work only to figure out that his computer was locked out due to an excessive amount of anal porn videos. He came home that day with a red face and a Victoria's Secret magazine and told me to stick with the old-fashioned way like he used to do it. No yelling. No anger. Just a simple sex talk and a lingerie magazine. I couldn't imagine the embarrassment when trying to get his computer unlocked at work. You know company policy. No more than 4 hours if anal sex a night. You come to work for 8 hours of ass peeping. You go home and want to watch more? Man, if you would have been 2 hours earlier you would have won this thread. Apparently my mother found porn in the history and immediately goes to my father in a panic thinking it was him. My father then goes to my brother and asks him about it. My brother was cool and took the blame and later taught me about history and cookies. I was 9 and there has been parental controls on the computer ever since. Wow. Cool brother you have. We have a history together. Then you didn't take your brother's advice. Not my kid. But my nephew. Knocked on his door to let him know I was bringing in his folded laundry. Waited a minute with no reply. Walked in to set the basket down and realized he didn't reply because he had his headphones in. There was a split second of eye contact. And I walked back out and started dinner. He gets to the kitchen for dinner later and starts stammering out some kind of excuse or apology and I just threw my hand up. I don't care. You aren't in trouble. Sorry I didn't knock louder. Here's dinner. I've never seen someone look so relieved. My husband asked what that was all about and I just said, nothing important. Get the beep out of my room, Mom, I'm playing Minecraft. Evacuate my living facility for I am currently expending time towards the popular Mojang sandbox game. Minecraft. I actually caught my dad looking at porn. He is not very tech savvy, so he didn't have a computer then, so he was using mine in my room. I guess he didn't hear me come home and when I opened my door he just stood up to block the screen and then he manually pressed the power button to shut the computer off. He wasn't whacking it or anything. He was looking for the right video before he got down to business. 28 tabs opened. I'm sorry, is that supposed to be an unreasonable number? And then you ultimately only use 1 to 3 of them. But mentally keep tabs on the rest for later. Not apparent. But on the night before my 16th birthday I was staying up late to see my AP score right when it was released at 5 in the morning. At about 3 I decided to rub one out. And after the deed was done I fell asleep. My mom found me in the morning. On my birthday with porn open on my TV screen. Parental locks on everything after that. Was forced to get creative from then on. Parental lock at the age of 16? That's disgusting. Yeah. Especially considering that I had already been doing it for more than a couple years without my mom knowing. So having to quit cold turkey was similar to torture. Our computer was in my little brother's room. We had the desk and printer in there and everything. My mom needed to print something but the printer wasn't working. So she called me to help. The 3 of us, Mom, Bro and I, were all in the room as I tried to fix the printer. Turns out there was a paper jam. So as soon as I fixed the jam, all the printing jobs starting printing out. One by one. The first page starts printing out. And I immediately see it's a picture of a naked woman. My mom is starting to say, "What is that?" But I quickly pulled it out of the printer before it could finish. Crumpled it up. And threw it away. Wait. Why did you do that? That was what I was printing. Mom. No. It wasn't. Seriously. You're driving me crazy. Can you just leave? I'll tell you when it's fixed. Seriously. Please get out now. I acted really annoyed and pissed at my mom, who totally didn't deserve it, and then watched as the printer printed out page after page after page of the same naked woman. My 11-year-old brother apparently kept hitting print because the printer wasn't working. So it ended up printing about 30 pages total. I looked at my brother and just said, dude, don't f***ing do that anymore. Thanks a lot. Plot twist. That was what your mum was printing. One weekend my parents went rifling through my room while I was away. Don't remember where I went, but they had the entire weekend to search my room. I was probably 14. I had my stash of porn pictures hidden on the top shelf of my closet underneath a box. I thought it was the best hiding spot ever. There was pictures of feet, girls with cum on their face, up close vagina shots. I was 14, so my porn game wasn't advanced yet. Anyways, apparently my mother found them and freaked out at what kind of porn I was looking at. She threw them all into a garbage bag along with all the other trash they had found. My dad salvaged my porn treasures from the garbage and put them back where she had found them. I get home. My dad just says, "Mom found your pictures in your closet. You should find a better hiding spot." Bro, Dad. Not my own children, but my friend and his girlfriend asked me to block all internet access on their 2 sons' tablets. They're both 7. I followed the history, and it started innocently enough with pictures of girls. The next search was pictures of naked girls. It was all videos starring big black cocks from there on out. One of them was trying to get to the same website the next day at school, but it was restricted. The other boy admitted that he had been using his grandmother's Kindle to access similar videos. The whole situation was very disturbing to the parents, but I couldn't get over the thought of grandpa finding big black cocks on grandma's Kindle. That made me laugh at a time that was absolutely not appropriate. You're never more than a few clicks away from big black cocks. My favorite Abraham Lincoln quote. My dad was installing something on my computer about 7 to 8 years ago, and when he went to type in the search bar, was the first thing to pop up. He saw the look of concern on my face, clicked it to find out what it was, and upon seeing a splash image of a cartoon woman holding her tits, he said, "You better be on your best behavior or I'm telling your mother." Probably one of the most awkward moments of my teenage years. I'm sure my teenage son has definitely not learned about porn yet. I have no worries. I was obsessed with Titanic and The Notebook, so I would look up the kissing scenes on YouTube, and it eventually progressed to me googling sex. For the longest time, I would just watch porn out of curiosity. I didn't have any urges / acted upon them. I was just genuinely interested in sex, and would just click on video after video. I didn't know about clearing the search history. But this was my family computer, so my parents definitely saw their 9-year-old daughter had been watching hardcore porn all day. They never said anything, and I only realized recently how weird that must have been. I have no idea how old I was, but I'm willing to bet maybe around 4th or 5th grade, because I was obsessed with Leonardo DiCaprio. This was back before computers and the internet were huge. I was on dial-up and home alone. I tried to search the internet for pictures of Leo. I decided to go to or something similar. It was a gay porn site, and it instantly froze my computer. I didn't know speep about computers at the time and was too f***ing stupid to just turn it off. So instead I freaked out and wrestled with what to tell my mom. I thought I broke the whole f***ing thing. Mom eventually comes into the room and I'm like, "I am sorry." Just crying and speep. I don't remember her exact reaction, But later that night she took me for a drive where she had the sex talk with me and then took me to McDonald's. Ah. The post-talk Big Mac. Works every time. She said. If you let me tell you about sex, I will take you to McDonald's after, and I was sold. Like, tell me how I was made. Tonight on How It's Made. Chicken Slug 420. My parents found out about me watching porn. It was actually my beephead younger brother who left the search history a mess. But they thought he was too young at the time. And I was watching porn anyway. So I figured I had just screwed up. Anyway, they flipped their speep. I was grounded for months. They put a strict parental lock on the computer, couldn't even use the internet after 7 p.m. I wasn't even allowed to leave my room. My father demanded that I read my Bible every day. It was bad. Something about your username tells me you are still angry. Edit. My top-rated comment is about Lucifer's booty fur. Obligatory, not a parent, but elder step-sibling. My mother and her ex-husband once found a whole bunch of links to porn sites in the browser history, specifically Pokemon porn videos. Like May or Misty. Engaging in Pokemon bestiality. I specifically remember a Buffett being mentioned. We ended up with a whole bunch of speep wrong with our computer. Which is how they ended up finding out. Cue my stepfather. Screaming, why can't you even beeping look at regular girls? At my stepbrother. Poke porn became a running gag in the long run though. To be fair, if my kid was attracted to Buffett instead of something normal like Gardevoir of Lapunny, I'd be concerned too. Normal. Yes. Gardevoir is a psychic type. Gardevoir has the most fanart for a reason. Knock next time. You know. I got a computer in here. You know. You know. You're really playing with fire when you burst in here like that. Man. I hate you, and I was thinking about your friend Grace. You are not the victim here. So have I got a story? At my house around Christmas we usually have a bunch of people over. Family friends from all over come and spend a few days. So one day my mom was up early and went on the computer where she found porn up on Google. Now I was about 14-ish at that time, with my brother being 12. My friends who were here were 12, 17, and 20, so it could have been any of us. So my mom asked and none of us said it was us. But my brother and I were the obvious suspects. So after a few days the heat died down and nothing became of it. 5 years later, when I was 19, about a year ago, I was on my dad's phone to Google something as my phone was dead. And I found how he was Googling porn. But just left it up on Google and didn't close it. So anyone would see it if they opened his phone. Then it hit me that it was him that fateful night. As any of us kids wouldn't have been stupid enough to leave it open. That's when I called the 20-year-old friend at the time and told him. As he thought it was me. We had a good laugh that the mystery was finally over. TL/DR. Mom finds porn on computer during holiday party. Thinks it's me or brother. 5 years later we find out it was my dad. Wait. You're 14 and one of your friends is 20? Not a parent. Just older brother. I was watching TV. And my brother was on the computer. Which was behind the couch I was sitting on. I hear an overwhelming silence. And turn around to see my younger brother staring into a porn compilation video, and I just turned around and kept watching TV. Desperately trying not to think about it. I have caught my son watching porn once where I left work early. And he was on headphones. Don't think he knew, but now that I'm an adult, it's really easy for parents to know what you're doing. But that doesn't mean you stop beating your meat. Kids. Or beating your kids. Meet. Or meeting your kids. Beat. You call that porn? Bitch, move aside, let me show you some real speep. A few years ago, when I was about 15, my father messaged me on Facebook chat a link to a porn video of a guy sticking his whole head inside a woman's vagina. I accidentally hit back on the family computer after my 8-year-old son had been using it. It opened up a Google search for small bobs. My wife was like, I'm not sure if I should feel insulted or complimented. Unsure if son realistic expectations for breast size or prefers midgets. Not the same thing. But when I was 13 I was jerking it and my dad walked in. It wouldn't have even been that bad if he had confronted me. But I saw him and hastily tried to hide it. And he just started laughing his ass off. It hurts to think about to this day.